Morning all, welcome to the first 2021 CALS Comm workshop. Today we are talking about Day of Giving, and we will be hearing from Kristin Sargent, who is the content specialist for CALS Comm, and also from Sara Awad, the social media specialist for CALS Communication. And for those of you who know Sara, tomorrow is her last day, so treat her extra special and ask all the questions because this may be your final chance. On with the show. Kristin and Sara, please take it away.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm going to share my screen because we have a little presentation. It's very similar to previous dog presentations, so there is some new information. But you all who have been in Day of Giving before kind of know the drill. So first thing that I want to mention, and I say this every time, is to have fun. Day of Giving, I know, is a 24-hour kind of social media campaign, so it can be stressful at times. But something to realize with social media is that a lot of our posts that do well, they tend to be the more like fun and spirit posts. So when we're having fun and getting creative on social media, our audience really appreciates that and we'll get higher engagement. So if you're having fun, then you'll get better results on a Day of Giving. So for the next slide, I'm actually going to turn it over to Kristin, who's going to kind of go over the toolkit a bit and just things to know pre-Day of Giving.
Hi, everyone. So for those that are meeting for the first time, it's nice to see your faces as I scroll down along the side of the presentation. And so, yes, I just kind of want to talk a little bit about what's in the toolkit and some of the things that we're going to be talking about today. There's the challenges. Some of them are different. Some of them are repeats. We do have some communication assets, design assets that can be displayed on your social channels and on the website in the spotlight box. And Sara has a couple of tips and tricks and things that worked out the last giving days. Oops.
Yeah, I wanted to go to the toolkit.
Yes.
So.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so here's the toolkit. Some of these things will be updated, but the social media challenges have been added with their dates. Same with hourly giving challenges. It also shows you how much money is up for grabs if you win those challenges. One of the challenges, hold on one second. So one of the challenges that I want to mention is this wild card challenge that's at 10 p.m. I want to say that's going to be announced closer to the day of. And that challenge is more specifically about kind of what's trending in social media. So it's not been announced quite yet. But we'll update that when it becomes available. And Sara, you can, yes, keep scrolling. So again, there's links to the department fund pages, the communication assets. And Sara, if you don't mind scrolling down some more, keep going past the, yeah. But there's a lot of information in here, and I think it's towards, oh, go back up.
Okay.
So right here, so this is something that's changed. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that there's no red and white division this year. It's essentially just one leaderboard, but there's still additional money that's up for grabs. So instead of having the red division win and getting, I think it was $30,000 last time, it's now just the overall university. And there's $40,000 awarded to the college unit with the highest total number, like dollars raised, but then also the highest number of gifts. So there is money up for grabs. It's just not the same red and white division where you had certain colleges together and departments together. But there's rules in here, challenges by hour. And Sara, if you want to keep scrolling just for a little bit more. Again, list of hourly challenges. Yes, and the toolkit is on the CALS employee portal. Thank you, Kionna. And you'll see here, there's links to specific CALS mockups that Joe and Patty helped design. And also the NC State actual Day of Giving content calendar. I have a sample, I have that linked in here. I'm not sure if it's actually live to everyone yet. So I don't, Sarah, can you click on that to see if that works? I'm sure it's probably going to work for you. But there's sample posts in here that you can copy and paste and put in your unit, your college. You can rewrite and tweak things. Oh, anything else? Okay. And there's
Yeah,
also a CALS specific one and one for extension. Go ahead, Sarah.
Yeah. So this one, it's just, we got a sneak preview because of our relationship with university communications, since I'm in the social media hub. So this isn't, live for the public really yet, but you'll be able to find it on NC State University's toolkit right here. So if you go to go.ncsu.edu/dog toolkit, we have it further down in the presentation, but that'll be where this is. So like right now you can see kind of what they have, like they have a list of challenges and the giving challenges similar to the CALS toolkit and lockup. So a lot of things that we have in here in the NC State one, we put in the CALS toolkit, but there's a lot of things that are kind of coming soon, like profile frames, the video share challenge, etc. So check back in both places. Kristin, did you want to go back to the toolkit at all or back to the presentation?
Presentation is fine. Thanks.
Okay.
All right.
Kristin, this is Kionna. Can I mention something rather quickly?
Yes, please go ahead.
In the toolkit, we have displayed the fun page links. However, those are not live yet. So please check back on the toolkit and we will alert you as to when those pages will be live.
And so as with the previous Day of Givings, this is the hashtag to use, Giving Pack. You can go to the next one, Sarah. Okay. And so objectives, obviously raise awareness for Day of Giving is pre-Day of Giving through any and all social media channels using the hashtag Giving Pack. Also by encouraging participation in social media challenges. And then of course, raise money through content messaging and awareness raised through conversation on social media shares. Sarah, did you have anything that you wanted to add here?
No, not right now.
Oh, yes. And Lindsay just said that if anyone has issues with accessing the NC State toolkit, to let her know and request access. There should be a link. All right. So what's included in the non-CALS specific social media toolkit? There's this, as we kind of already mentioned, a sample content calendar from NC State. There are cover photo examples that you can use for Facebook and Twitter if you want, but I want to say this year we're really encouraging just the use of the profile frame on social media, since when scrolling through your phone and on different pages, that's what people tend to see first. So that's kind of where we're hoping that people will use the Giving Pack profile frame that NC State creates when it becomes available. The save the date it's live on the Day of Giving website, but we're not doing any promotion until 1 month out, which would be February 24th. And I believe that's next Thursday. And so you can just, follow along on NC State's content calendar for weekly action items. Megan has it broken down essentially for pre-Day of Giving or certain things like doing your first initial save the date messaging. And we do have some other slides about pre-Day of Giving messaging. Oops, let's see here. Oh, can you post the link for the NC State toolkit in the chat as well?
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay. So as we said, the content calendar is coming soon. That will be available to everyone. Same with the Facebook and Twitter profile frames. And as mentioned, once again, you can copy and paste the text from those calendars and fill in the blanks. You can also customize and post the copy to your specific department or unit pages. And just as an example, so that photo that we had in the previous slide, we do have a variety of different photos that do fit for different departments. And that link is also on the toolkit. Sorry, go ahead, Sarah. So some of the pre-Day of Giving theme posts, you know, much like before in September, it was Stronger as a Pack. It's not necessarily that it's, I don't think Stronger as a Pack this time. I think they're allowing a little bit more fun with it this time, but we're still, you know, these are some of the things that are still to be discussed. Addressing urgent needs, creating solutions, expanding opportunity to all students and providing an inclusive environment, and leading the pack is leading the state. And so Sarah and I kind of just crafted a little kind of things of what you might want to craft in your post, especially when you're addressing urgent needs. You know, thanks to support from donors, we can move quickly to help people of North Carolina. Creating solutions, we're driven by solutions to the big question, whether they impact our state, your family, and just so on. So these are just some of the themes. And I can't remember if we had a second, do we have a second themes slide, Sarah, or we just combined it into one?
No, we just combined it into one. If you go to the NC State toolkit, they have a bunch more themes. So we kind of combined and condensed them since we didn't want to overwhelm you all. But if you want more description on that, you can head to the NC State Day of Giving toolkit.
And we also tried to pick themes that we thought were relevant to CALS and extension.
Yeah, and the main thing this time, y'all, is that last time it was more like now more than ever. You need, like, we would like your support because of the pandemic and everything. And this time they're really shifting more to because now always. So, you know, we're always leading the way, you know, growing North Carolina, etc. So we're always going to need your support, basically. It's not just during times of hardship and challenges. Right. So that's kind of like the focus and how we're shifting this year. All right, so I'm going to take over for the next few slides. So thank you, Kristin. So this is just some examples of social media content calendar and action from various, you know, departmental communicators. So some of this was from, you know, September. We have one from when we thought we were going to have one in March, and then the pandemic happened. So for example, Applied Ecology. On the left, they're, you know, promoting a social media challenge, like help us win $2,500. So they say like tag NC State AEC, use Giving Pack. And then they say specifically, you know, this is to help JEDI efforts, buy equipment for students, create field opportunities. So that's an example. They have some example photos to share. And then Crop and Soil Sciences, they posted this really cute little GIF last time that said, I'm #giving pack to like blank with, you know, different reasons. So one was create opportunity. And it was kind of a reminder saying, you know, tomorrow, September 16th is NC State's Day of Giving, Stronger as a Pack. If you're in a position to give, it is needed to support students, fund research, and strengthen digital learning. And then they had the direct link to their department page. And then BAE last time, this is an example of how they literally kind of just took what was in the content calendar and filled in the blanks versus making it their own. So it was just, let's show the Wolfpack community what the #BAE pack. So like you could, if you have, you know, a specific hashtag for your department, you can insert it in there. So that's kind of an example of, again, this one was for when we thought we were going to have it in March. So just some inspiration for that. Something else to note is while we are waiting for those, you know, the profile frame for Facebook, this is something that we did the first Day of Giving. We didn't do this last time, but now it's optional if you want to kind of bring it back. But what you can do is not change like your Twitter handle, but you can change the name of your Twitter account. So normally our Twitter is NC State CALS, but you can make it say NC State CALS : #giving pack on March 24th. So that way, every time you tweet, people will be reminded of Day of Giving and that it's happening on March 24th. So that's like an optional thing if you want to change your Twitter name. That'll just help you spread awareness, and we'd encourage you to do it a few weeks out before Day of Giving, so it's on people's minds, not just on the day. So something else to keep in mind, NC State is going to be, unveiling a social media toolkit for ambassadors. It's not out yet, it's coming soon, but begin thinking about who your ambassadors could be, whether it's students, alumni, faculty, staff, fans. It's really anyone who wants to be. So really it's your community who can help, lift up and spread awareness about Day of Giving. We don't want it to just be coming from the departments or the college. Social media is always more about a two-way conversation. So when that toolkit goes live, there will be a cover photo for Facebook and Twitter for your fans that can give them like a social media page makeover. There's a profile picture frame. And then there's also going to be sample copy as well. So maybe they want to help promote Day of Giving, but they don't actually know what to say. There will be like a little kind of content calendar for them where they can literally like just copy and paste and add that to their social media channels. So be on the lookout for that on NC State's toolkit. And this is just some examples from last time. So we didn't, specifically say, hey, we want you to be ambassadors. This is just kind of, organically, people wanted to spread the word about CALS and Day of Giving. So we had someone saying, I chose NC State CALS because of their commitment to FFA and preparing the next generation of agriculturalists, #GivingPack. One of our students, Coleman, said he started this week by receiving a $15,000 grant to help support CALS students' mental health, and he's finished today by giving back to the Oak Scholars. No telling how great my Friday will be if this was just the first half of the week. In the middle here, you can see someone who's like, she missed a social media challenge, but she still didn't want to miss this opportunity. So she said her dad inspires her to work hard and make solid connections, and most of all have faith, but he's the reason that she's a wolf packer and bleeds red. So she posted like a photo of her dad, and it's really sweet. So kind of just sharing that like emotional connection on there. And then we have some on the right, like someone from our advancement office trying to help us win a social media challenge, for example. So that's just some examples of what your ambassadors can do for you in that more human voice that, sometimes it's hard to do as a department or college. Another thing to think about, so before Day of Giving, we will be having a video share challenge. So this happens every Day of Giving. It's kicking off on March 17th. The video, like a lot of things, still coming soon, but basically we'll be posting this video to the college's Facebook page. And then we'll be asking you all to share this video. So don't like post this video to your page directly. We just want you to share it, because the video with the page with the most shares, they'll get bonus funds for Day of Giving. So for example, I manage Extension's Facebook page too. So I won't be here for this, obviously, but whoever is running social media by then, they'll just be sharing the CALS video, because we don't want Extension, competing with CALS, since that'll get, Extensions underneath CALS basically. So we're just always trying to get more shares so we can win those bonus funds.
I wanted to bring up something specifically about this challenge. Since there's a loophole, and so if I'm running the social media challenges, I do plan to reshare our original post, because only the shares from the original post is what will count. So I will do this as a second reshare later on, about a week out from actual day of what kicks off March 17th, but a couple days prior to actual Day of Giving, as a second opportunity for people to then share still that original video. So that's something else to think about, is it's going to go up there once, but it'll be a second time for everyone to share it a second round if they missed it the first time.
Yeah, and some other, loopholes that people have done is they will like literally go and share this video multiple times, even though it's the same person that, apparently still counts. So, I mean, we're not saying that you should do that, but I guess if you have time and it's like 11:50 and you want to share it 10 more times, I mean, be our guest. So when you're thinking about your day of giving strategy too, we always recommend, if you have time, to schedule and plan content out in advance. So the first year we kind of did this, we were doing 2 tweets on the hour. So last year we kind of dialed it back to 1 because we weren't sure kind of what the vibes were. And we're still kind of dialing it back to, about 1 tweet per hour. So we're in the middle of like working on our content calendar for that. So we'll have that, and then we'll also, kind of do tweets on the spot too, as, big donations come in, and just thanking people in general. So it's kind of a mixture of like live and scheduled content, if you will. But just remember, like anything you post, make sure it creates impulse and reminds fans and followers about what's happening and why. And then always make sure that you're encouraging use of the hashtag giving pack whenever and wherever possible. So like saying things like, how are you giving pack? I'm hashtag giving pack by the link. And we actually are going to, something new we're trying to do this year is we're going to have like graphics for, people who are donating to Day of Giving. We're going to be posting that. It's a graphic that says, I'm hashtag giving pack because I'm CALS proud, like something like that. And so basically they can like share that image and like post it on their channels to, again, spread the word. We're trying to increase our alumni engagement this year, basically. So another thing that's every, Day of Giving is we have social media challenges. So part of Day of Giving is really that gamification, aspect for people who maybe can't contribute financially. They can at least participate. And then if they win a social media challenge, that obviously wins more funds for the college. So new to Day of Giving this year, we have more challenges to introduce. And then we have one new pre-Day of Giving challenge on Facebook, which will be Show Us Your Wolfie. So basically just post a photo of you doing this wolfie. It'll be judged by creativity. So the more creative, the better. And then this year, we're also allowing participation on Instagram stories. So in general, social media challenges are usually on Twitter and Instagram, but what we found on Instagram was people weren't participating as much because Instagram is very aesthetic, and so people didn't want to ruin that aesthetic on their grid. So we're thinking they might be more willing to participate on Instagram stories because they go away after 24 hours. So we're going to try that out this year and see how that works. Something we tried last year that didn't work was Facebook challenges. So we're only doing those for pre-Day of Giving, but basically there won't be any Facebook challenges on the actual day of. So that's going away because there was very low participation. And then Kristin said we'll add the alumni engagement asset to the toolkit as well, so you can also download and use to encourage your alumni to use. So that'll be added.
Yeah, if you want to create an original post in any of the, I guess it's the regular hourly challenges where it's most alumni, you can encourage people to do that and tag a couple friends, since that's kind of how we're doing it, is to tag some of their former classmates.
Yeah, so you post that, maybe tag 2 friends, and then maybe they'll donate. So that's kind of the strategy we're going with this year. So these are just some of the social media challenges. I mentioned the Show Us Your Wolf Bees. We're doing, this is slightly different from last time. So last year, every time someone tweeted hashtag giving pack, like it could be anything, but as long as they use that hashtag, $10 was donated to the fund of their choice, like whoever they tagged. So this time there's going to be a champion of that. So whichever unit ends up having the most uses of the hashtag, they'll get extra funds donated to them on top of that, because last time Department of Music had a lot of fans who were tweeting hashtag giving back, so they would have won like extra bonus money for that. So, you know, even if you can't donate, just tweet giving back and then that'll give us $10. So that's something to think about too. Every year we do kind of like some sort of throwback, you know, challenge. So one year was like then and now. This year it's kind of just like anything that you want to throw back to, basically. We have descriptions for all of these again on the CALS toolkit. If you want to see the times, how much money you're getting, the exact description. And then we have a red photo challenge, just posting like the last red photo on your camera roll. An emoji challenge, just doing a tweet with like emojis. Kristin mentioned the Wolfpack wildcard challenge.
And I also wanted to bring up, and I mean, I feel like I can share it with this group. We were told too that a lot of the challenges that were won, it was like a handful of submissions. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Like some of the people that won only had maybe 3 or 4 submissions, but they might have been very creative. So just kind of think that keep that in the back of your mind too.
Yeah, so, previously, like our first day of giving, our strategy towards social media challenge was like, oh, okay, we need to create this very creative, post, and then maybe we'll win the challenge. When really, College of Natural Resources, they were winning a lot of challenges just because they had a lot of their employees participating in the challenges. So instead of picking like, 2 or 3 that you want to really go hard on, just post something simple like for each challenge, or maybe ask like if you have faculty or staff in your department, be like, give them the list of challenges and be like, hey, if you have a pet, go post this like photo of your dog, for example. I know I mentioned to Kristin that when we're talking about day of giving with our team, we'd love for them to send us our ideas of what they want to post, and then maybe like we can help tweak it so that way we get more participation from our own team. And the reason behind that too is just the more challenges you enter, the higher your odds are of winning. So some returning challenges, like we mentioned, the hashtag challenge, video share challenge, pack pets. That one's a popular one. So that one does have stiff competition. FYI, you're still welcome to participate, but that one's a harder one to win. There's the One Wolf Pack challenge, which is just posting like a photo of you and your pack, basically. And then there's the Don't Give Up challenge, which is just, kind of tagging someone who inspires you, basically, and lifts you up. And then this is kind of like a rundown of how to participate based on each platform. I know every year, like even on our team, they're like, what do you need? What do you need to do exactly? And it's different for each platform. So Twitter and Instagram, you're basically just using the hashtag giving pack and mentioning the college program or fund of your choice. So make sure though that whenever you're doing this, you're public, okay? Like if it's private, we're not gonna see that. Kristin ran into that issue last time. Yeah.
And the other thing I want to mention too, since we're still talking about social challenge, is I want to say the pre-day of giving challenges, they're also on Facebook. Whereas most of the actual day of challenges are Twitter and Instagram only. Mm-hmm. I think that's something that's changed for this time around.
Yeah, so that's something I kind of briefly alluded to, but just to hit that, home again, just keep that in mind. So if you're, like I said, Instagram stories is new this time. So in addition to using the hashtag, tagging NC State CALS, you also have to mention NC State's account so that way they see it. So keep that in mind if you're testing out stories this time. And then for Facebook, for that pre-Day of Giving challenge, the Wolfies one, there's 2 different ways that you can do it. So you can either, make sure your Facebook account is public and like post that photo and then tag NC State's Facebook page. And also, tag NC State CALS, or NC State will be posting about the challenge on March 23rd. So you can just comment your photo on NC State's post and then kind of, make sure you mention that it's for CALS, for example, to make that count. So
Sarah, there's a question. So Julie had indicated that her social is private and she's asking, are you saying that nothing will count? Please clarify.
yeah, so Julie, if you wanted to participate in a social media challenge, you need to make sure that it's public, or at least make sure that post is public.
Because they can't see it.
Yeah, they can't see it. So that's why like we're trying to open it up to Instagram stories too, because some places like are more, private. And that's why we're also not doing many Facebook challenges on the day, because most people's Facebooks are private.
You could just make it private for the day and then go back to, I mean, sorry, you can have it not be private for the day and then make it private the next day. Sorry.
But I think there's ways you can just make that specific post public too. All right, so things to think about, kind of already mentioned, some of this, but don't only participate as like the unit you represent, but also bring your real self into this. So like, I know even though I was, last time running CALS as an extension social media challenge, pages, I had a lot of help, but I was also trying to, post challenges as my personal self too on Twitter. So that'll increase your chances if you have time. And then encourage others on your team. I mentioned that. And just start early too, since you already know what the challenges are ahead of time. Be thinking about, what you want to post about, so you're not scrambling on the day. And like, remember, they don't have to be like created on the day. You just have to make sure you post it on the day. So keep that in mind. So I want to move on to, let's see, chat. Okay. All right, that's just talking about public versus private. All right, so going on to kind of stewardship and thank yous. So very first year, we did kind of these text thank yous, but we also did graphic thank yous as well. So this time we're keeping it, pretty simple. We're just going to focus more on the text thank yous. So basically, if we see anyone who has donated, we'll try to, thank them on Twitter, especially if we've been provided with a Twitter handle. We'll also be monitoring our accounts to see who's participating in the social media challenges and thank them for that. So, we were thanking John Fly, who works over in our advancement, office up top. He was tweeting pretty late at night. So we said, thanks for staying up with us and giving back. And then down below is an example of Sarah Ash. Like, she didn't have a Twitter handle, but we still wanted to thank her, anyway, because that encourages others to give. So we were thanking her for donating to the Academic Programs Enhancement Fund. So just be mindful of the activity on your accounts that day, because again, social media is a two-way conversation. So just make sure that you're thanking people who are helping you out. And then again, this GIF, like I had posted last time I did this presentation, but this is just the celebration when Day of Giving's over and we've raised all this money, hopefully. And we have all of these social media engagements. So that's kind of how we're hoping we'll feel. Also, well, I won't be there, but my team will probably also be tired. I would always take the day off the very next day because I'd be up super late. So you might be feeling tired too if you're working that day. Richard said one of my more embarrassing moments. All right, Also, what's next? So you want to thank people on the day, but you also want to thank them after the day is over too. So consider posting some sort of thank you on your channel. So we'll probably be doing this, pretty late at night. LinkedIn will probably say for like the next morning, but basically we like to highlight certain stats like total number of donations, money raised. If we're in first place, we're hoping maybe, I don't know, can we beat like College of Veterinary Medicine this time? If we're in first place, we definitely want to celebrate that. But even like throughout the day, we're always like posting screenshots of the leaderboard to be like, hey, we're like, we moved up to number 1. Let's like stay there, or we're this close too. That's something to kind of think about. But definitely make sure you post some sort of thank you on social media. I believe with email communications, though, you're going to have to wait 30 days before you do anything from the department.
Yeah, actually, if you don't care, I was going to say a quick note about that. I think I know most everyone I've worked with y'all in some capacity, but I'm Lindsay Skinner. I work over in CALS Advancement and kind of work with CALS Comm on leading this effort for the college. I do want to quickly introduce Sarah Craig, who's on the call. I was doing this interimly, and she is now our annual giving director. So she will be taking this over. So you'll hear from her more than you've heard from me in the past. But a quick note about emails, since Sarah brought it up. They really want you to use organic avenues to promote Day of Giving. So like if you have a departmental newsletter or things like that that are pre-established prior to Day of Giving. And if you will just kind of give us a heads up if you're going to include that in a departmental newsletter or program newsletter, or want to look at sending a strategic email, if you will just email Sarah Craig and I and Kristin, of course, and we can kind of help you guide the messaging there on email communications, because we are sending emails on behalf of the entire college and programs that we have scheduled centrally, and we're restricted to how many numbers and when they go out, and all of that fun stuff. So just want to make sure we coordinate our efforts in those communications.
Thanks, Lindsay. Definitely wanted you to bring that up. So I was gonna throw it to you if you didn't volunteer yourself.
Thanks.
Something else to think about, like how do you know if your Day of Giving was successful? There are many different ways that you can kind of look at certain metrics. Again, it could be, the number of gifts that were raised. Number of gifts and the amount raised. It could be number of social media engagements. It could be impressions or reach. For those of you who don't know what impressions or reach are, that's just kind of the number of people who have seen your posts. On the university level, sometimes they look to see, was Giving Pack trending? That's another kind of measure of success, looking at, web traffic. And then maybe it's just that you want to focus on a particular audience. Like maybe you're really trying to increase your giving from young alumni, for example. So just think about how you want to measure success, because that is unique to you and your unit or department. So I'm going to throw it back to Kristin here to kind of round us off and talk about the goals that we're focusing on as a college this year specifically.
So yeah, as Sarah said earlier in this presentation, one of our efforts is to increase financial support and engagement with CALS alumni in general, including first-time donors. That's another reason why we created the alumni asset that can be downloaded and used, and really encouraging alumni to use it if they're, hashtag giving pack. But also, they can just use it in general, and using the hashtag to help get the $10 and hopefully, win other challenges. But the other things that we're highlighting is that there is we're highlighting the importance of diversity and inclusion. You'll see a lot of that messaging coming out from the CALS social media channels pre Day of Giving and also throughout the day. Oops. I'll look at that in a second. Sorry, Brandon. We're also increasing awareness for the plant sciences building. So you'll see a lot of communications about that. And if your department is somewhat associated with PSI, I also would encourage using some of those messaging or even retweeting CALS about PSI. And then we're empowering departments and counties to help us spread the word. And let's see what this was here.
Kristen, I can answer Brandon's question in the chat about stewardship.
Okay, sure. Go ahead. Thank you.
Brandon, so what you're talking about is stewarding donors, which is great. We definitely want to have you do that around Day of Giving. You will be able to see kind of who is giving to your department page as the day goes on. We will be looking at that to kind of steward them on behalf of the college. And Sarah, tell me if I'm wrong on this, but we would probably want them to retweet any real-time stewardship that the college is putting out, because we just want to make sure that donor information is correct. As far as like stewarding donors after Day of Giving, we have a 30-day hold until we can steward donors after Day of Giving. But on the day, I wouldn't recommend looking at your departmental feed and just seeing someone made a gift and like choosing to use their name randomly. Like, we can pull that information for you is what I'm getting at, and send it out centrally through our channels, because it's not going to be exact on what you're seeing on your departmental page. Quick note about departmental pages. There is a departmental leaderboard, and you guys are going to get more information about this year, where the dean has put up some prize funds, about $10,000, and you will get a percentage of that based on your alumni giving. So it's based on a percentage of your alumni they give. So we can equitably award funds based on size of departments and that. And these will all go to your unrestricted enhancement funds, which is the goal of Day of Giving, is to raise unrestricted funds. Thanks, Kristen.
Yeah, just to add to what Lindsay was saying, I think it'd be easier probably for departments to, if someone happened to mention, like on Twitter, for example, that they were giving to Day of Giving, then I think it'd be easier to kind of reply to them and say, oh, like, we appreciate, your support, something like that, versus kind of proactively looking through the list. We can, I won't be here again, but you all can kind of talk internally as a team, and if you change your mind about that recommendation at all. But I will say, on the NC State side of things, they are going through like a spreadsheet of who's donated. And so on the enterprise level, NC State will be trying to thank as many people as possible, whether they mentioned it on social media or not. So that's just something to think about. And we have like our advancement team usually on Day of Giving from a college level will be thanking people who they have kind of identified, like, hey, like, make sure you thank this person. So again, like Lindsay said, if you see that we're doing that, you can just like maybe retweet or like a quote tweet our tweet, for example. What other questions are there? Since I'm sharing my screen, it's hard for me to see the chat, but if someone else can help verbalize questions.
I don't see any other questions in the chat. So.
Okay. Well, we'll stick around for a bit, but I don't know if Janine or Kristen, you kind of wanted to plug the next CALS Comm workshop. Oh, wait.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up. Oh, was someone else going? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I was just gonna introduce it. But I would love, if there are other questions that people can talk about in general, things that people are planning or relating to Day of Giving, social media plans, that would be great to stick around and talk through. But our next CALS Comm workshop, and the hope is to launch the list of all of them in the next week or so, is on March 18th, and it is about staying current with AP Style. It's going to be led by Tim Peeler, who works for University Communications under the News Services branch. So if you, and the registration will come out in the first week of March, but it would be so great if you all would stick around and hang out with us right now and talk a little bit more about plans for Day of Giving. Thanks for coming.